I had little experience and felt completely unqualified as a graphic designer. My first ever paid logo design was off to a great start. It was early in my senior year of college, and I was working at the YMCA as a kids counselor, and one of the parents approached me and said, "Hey, you do graphic design, right?" Now that's either the best thing or the last thing you want to hear as a designer. At the time, I was both nervous and excited to have maybe my first ever freelance project. The design brief was simple. It was a logo design for Spark, which was a preteen ministry at a local church. They wanted something fun and energetic. Spark obviously brings up those like lightning bolt type of graphics. Now after learning more about what they wanted, I was like, yeah, I think I can do that for you. And then they said, well, how much? And I said, oh, don't worry about it. And that was my first mistake. And I said, no, we need to pay you for this. You're doing design work for us. You know, how much would be worth your time? And I said, $25. And that was mistake number 2. The parent then said, no, that's too little, at least $100. And so we settled on $100. And I felt a whole lot of imposter syndrome. Who am I to be getting paid $100 to design something when I've never done that before? And I think that's a truly honest and completely normal feeling for designers or any creatives. You're suddenly getting paid to do work that you found fun in college. But there's a real professional world out there. Graphic designers are truly needed. And I learned later that that was probably undervaluing my time. But this was my first ever project. I already felt just thankful to be paid anything. So after quite a bit of back and forth, hours upon hours, and lost sleep trying to work on this design, I finally came up with this Spark logo design. I had to dive deep into the interwebs to find a picture, and I guess they're still using it because they attached virtual, so they're doing a virtual version ever since sort of the pandemic started. But this was in 2011, so it's been a long time, and they've actually been using it since then. Now I could critique it all I want. I would change the font, change the colors. I would simplify the design as a whole. But honestly, for what it is, for being like a kid's thing, I think it still works for them. It still seems fun. But if I was to learn 3 lessons, it's valuing your time. I spent 20 plus hours coming up with this design through lots of different iterations. So when you take that $100 and you start to divide it by the hours I spent on it, I'm only making like $5 an hour, maybe. That's number 1. So you could reverse engineer that if you're ever trying to price out a project. I still struggle with this, but the way I think about it now is I think, how long is this project going to take me? And what do I value my time? Is it $20 an hour? And it's a 10-hour project, well then that's going to be a $200 design project. So that's kind of the easier way that I think about pricing designs now. Number 2 is feeling confident in your abilities. So at the time, I felt really reserved on offering my graphic design services to anyone, especially paid. I didn't feel like I deserved to be paid because I was just a student, but I had actually done an internship at that time. I'd kind of been paid for design work. I'd learned a lot through that. I was a senior in college. I mean, I had 3 years before that of studying design, so I should have known a few things, and that does bring value. If you're a little bit ahead and you can offer a service to someone, that brings value. You should be paid for it. And the last thing I'll leave you with is it's okay to not be perfect. I wasn't completely satisfied with the logo design that I had created, but the client was okay with it. They liked it. They liked the final result that we came up with. And even now when I look back at it, I know it wasn't a great design, but that isn't the point. It's okay to be imperfect. Try to not spend all your waking and then interrupting your sleeping hours trying to finish a project or perfect every last detail. Not every design needs that. It only needs to serve the purpose and the intent that the client needs it to serve. All right, guys, tell me what you think about that logo in the comments below, and I'll see you all next week.